Welcome everyone, I'm Amy. I'm an NPC bikini competitor, maybe a fit model competitor, and a nutritional therapy practitioner. And this is week 21 of my reverse. It is Arnold week. I am so excited. Like, cannot wait to be at the Arnold. I leave in just a couple of days. If you are there, I hope you found me because of course this video will be coming out after I get back. I apologize if it's a few days late. Oh yeah, I have so much to do before I go. So today I need to finish doing laundry and packing. It's gonna be pretty cold in Ohio because, well, it's Ohio in February, Arnold. Like, can we not pick a better time of year or location? February in Ohio. But doesn't even matter. We'll be inside at the expo all day and I am just, again, I can't say it enough. I'm so excited. So I did get feedback from my coach. It actually came in late last night and I listened to it last night and then I just listened to it again. So there was not a whole lot. One of the things that I'd said in my check-in form, which if you missed it, that's in my at the end of my last week video where I talk about what I sent to Aaron for my check-in. I mentioned that I felt like my body fat percentage was getting to a point where we could kind of hold and settle. He seemed to disagree with that. One of the things I also mentioned to him was that, when I started the estrogen cream, I felt like I developed some cellulite right away, which he said, no, I didn't, but like, yeah, I did. And I wasn't saying that in a negative way. Like, I was literally just using that as an indicator that I felt like the estrogen was working. And where the fat was depositing, there was a definitive difference in like maybe holding a little bit of water, okay, but then also just kind of seeing that more female-driven fat distribution happen really quickly, I took as a really good sign. So I think he thought I was like complaining, like, oh my gosh, I've got cellulite. Like, that was not it at all. I was really just commenting on the fact that, I was seeing that visual change from the input that we'd provided, which, I thought was good. You put the input in, the estrogen cream in, and you get the output of some cellulite and more female fat distribution, which is fine. So that was good. He also gave me some input about what he kind of expected as far as staying on plan for my traveling this week at the Arnold. He said it's okay with him if I, don't work out while I'm there. I am going to change up my rest days just slightly. Like, today is typically a rest day for me, but I decided to skip a rest day and just do another workout because I will probably not be able to, I won't get all my workouts in potentially. I just don't know what the gym situation is going to be like. I mean, of course, there's the pros gym is right there by the expo center or by the convention center, and that's where all of the pros are working out. But I've also researched some other gyms in the area that might be good options that allow like a daily rate. So there's one in particular that it's a little bit farther out, like just a little bit kind of south of the city slightly. It still would be a quick like Uber from where I'm staying. And I think that might be where I go. It's a $20 drop-in fee, which is super reasonable as well. So just to get out of the crowds a little bit, because if you really want to get a good quality workout in, I mean, yeah, it's fun to work out around all these pros, but the gym is going to be packed. So we'll see how it goes. I will have, stacked up a few of my workouts earlier in the week. And then if I can't work out while I'm there, I can't work out while I'm there. When I was in Vegas, I just got cardio in. I didn't get any lifts in while I was there for the Olympia. But then there's also, other opportunities. The expo has equipment. I mean, it'll be fine. That part I'm not super worried about. He did say it was okay to have, an off-plan meal here and there, but to really make sure that I'm tracking my protein. He did ask for me to bring my body weight scale to make sure I'm not dropping weight. And I just don't know if I'm going to have the ability with the weight cap on my luggage. I need to weigh everything. So today, one of the things I'm going to do is weigh all of the cookie dough to see how much it weighs. Oh, and the ice packs. I need to remember to grab those and take those with me. See how much all of that weighs, and then see how much, left I have with all of my own stuff. My toiletries, the things that are heavier, my clothes. And then I'll have to decide what I'm going to wear. That is kind of one of the nice things is, it is going to be cold, so like I can layer up and like wear my heaviest items on the plane and pack the lighter stuff in the suitcase. So if I don't have the ability to add my scale in, I took my scale with me to the Olympia and that was fine, but I was driving. So if I have the weight in my scale or in my luggage, I'll throw it in. If I don't, I'm going to unfortunately just not worry about it. Sorry, Aaron, I'm not trying to lose weight while I'm there, which is what he's worried about, just with the added activity that I might drop weight, but I'll make sure that I'm eating enough to prevent that. And I mean, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll be eating enough to prevent that. There's, I'm not bringing all my food with me like I did to the Olympia, so I'll have no option but to, make it work. And it's so easy to do. I also looked up a couple of meal delivery services in Columbus to see if that was the route I wanted to go, just to get a couple of meals. There's a local company here called Fit something. Oh, it's like right down the street, where you can go in and just like pick up meals. And I'm sure there's similar options there, which I did find one. Most of them require that you pre-ordered, and the cutoff date to order is actually today. So I might look at that again just to see if I do want to order a couple of meals. And there's a gym really close by that you can pick them up at, like instead of having it delivered, since I don't know, staying in an Airbnb and you won't get the address until it's like the day you arrive. So I couldn't really set up to have them delivered today because I wouldn't know where's, but they have the ability to pick them up at a local gym that's really close. So I might do that for a couple of the meals. But the other options when you're traveling, like there are just so many options for really easy macro-friendly meals. And when you've been macro tracking as long as I have, like it's pretty easy to eyeball things. The old standbys, like a serving of protein that fits in the palm of your hand is probably around 3 ounces. It's pretty easy to eyeball the carbs. The fat is kind of the outlier because when you're getting prepared foods, you never really know how much fat they're using. Even if you go to like the Whole Foods salad bar and get like the chicken breast off of it, like, yeah, they marinate it in something and they cook it in oil. So just not adding additional oil. Those are pretty easy things to do. Or places like Chipotle, you can get a healthy meal basically anywhere. I talked about this a few weeks ago when Robin, I think, had asked me about what I do for dining out. For restaurants, I mean, really, I think people overthink it. Like, just ask for what you want, look at the menu, see what's available, alter where you need to. Like, just because it comes a certain way doesn't mean you have to eat it that way, based on what your goals are. If you order a chicken sandwich, just don't eat the bread. Or just get 2 and put 2 chicken breasts on one on the bread, if you need more protein. Like, there's always a way to make it fit your macros and your goals. And then of course there's all kinds of fun snacks and protein shakes and other things at the expo. I did that at the Olympia. I don't know if I talked about this. I ate way too many of those Alpha Prime brownie bites on Saturday at the expo, and oh my goodness, did they destroy me. Oh, that was brutal. But it was nice to be able to get like BCAAs and like a protein sample here and there. So there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of options. So I'm not worried about that part of it. And if I can fit my scale in my luggage within my weight requirement, I absolutely will. Just, because my coach asked for that, and I want to try as much as I can to do the things my coach asks me to do. I'm excited to get to do an in-person check-in with him. He is competing on Thursday, so he'll be super busy, but Friday or Saturday, it'll be great to have him take a look at my physique in person and see what he thinks. I think it's tough because I am so tall. I think I look leaner in pictures than I am in real life. And that's just because you don't see the softness and the thickness of what I am, because it is also spread out. Because trust me, I'm not trying to just like say this, like there are definitive changes in my body that have not happened to me in previous off seasons as far as the size of things. Like I take measurements. So when I say that things are getting bigger, it's not like me like in my head being like, oh my gosh, they're getting bigger. Like it literally is my clothes not fitting, my measurements going up, the scale going up. I mean, these are real tangible things that I'm basing that off of, not just some craziness in my head. So I think it'll be good for him to see me in real life. He hasn't seen me since I was a week out from doing 2 back-to-back shows, or doing a show and one 6 weeks prior. So I was so lean. So I think I think he'll be shocked, like to see how much my body has changed versus what the pictures are kind of showing. Because the pictures, I mean, when you pose, like you're posed, like you're posing to accentuate the positive and minimize your flaws. Like that's the whole point of the posing that we do as bodybuilders. So it is going to kind of naturally hide some of those things. Like he said, there's no cellulite on my legs. I'm like, well, not when I'm posing because I'm pushing my butt out. But when I'm just standing straight, like, trust me, man, there is cellulite there. So I think that'll be really good too, and helpful for him, I hope. When you coach online, you don't always get the opportunity to see your clients in person. So excited about that. Was there any other feedback? No, just to kind of let him know how it goes as I push deeper into this mesocycle. My recovery is still good. He might increase it as we flip over to the next mesocycle. Since my recovery's been good, he can kind of increase the volume a bit potentially, which is great to hear. And it has. My recovery's feeling really good. Like I feel like I could push it more, which is great. Did push it pretty hard today, which was really good. Hit higher weights than most of my lifts from the previous week on the same workout, so that was really great. He talked a little bit more about my blood sugar. He really does want me to start the metformin, which I mentioned I'm not going to start until after I get back from the Arnold because of my previous experience with it really destroying it wasn't even digestive issues, it was just constant nausea that I cannot be dealing with when I'm flying and maybe taking Ubers. Like I'd be puking all over the place. It would be a nightmare. I get really bad car sick and motion sickness, so don't want to be, causing a problem on an airplane. So that was it. Yeah, other than that, he understood about steps. My steps are still over 10,000, but they'll be higher next week, and then it's beautiful out today, so getting in a nice walk today. Again, apologies if this video is late and I'm not even sure what the rest of the content in it is going to be. I don't know if I'll be able to get the Arnold content edited in quickly enough or if it'll be in next week's video. Either way, if you were at the Arnold, I hope you found me. If you did, I hope I'll have pictures to share of us if you got a picture with me or if I got a picture with you. And I just, excited to do the Arnold. I can't wait to see the lineups. They're so good. Like the athletes, the quality of athlete coming to the Arnold this year is just amazing. So excited about all of that. If you do have any questions about what the Arnold was like, please leave those in the comments below and I will talk about that in probably next week's video. Until then, hope everybody has an amazing week and I will see you here in whatever comes next. So this week, the workout footage I'm sharing was from my pull session. So starting out with a low cable row, these are really good. I am learning to really love my back days. Really trying to get a good stretch on these, and it's a little bit challenging because I don't have anywhere to brace my feet straight out in front of me, as you would on a traditional cable machine that had the attached bench. It has the footrest that's a little higher. So I'm just having to kind of brace myself on the floor. And that does add a little bit of an extra challenge. As I was going up in weight on these, I was, needing to brace a little bit harder than potentially you would if you had a different setup, but still getting a really great contraction on these and really focusing on pulling kind of through the movement at the back and holding for just a second. I left all these in at real time because it was just the one set. I did more sets. This was just the only one I recorded. And then after that, moved on to some wide grip pull downs. Really love doing these. You kind of see my first few reps, I'm able to get that bar almost to my chest. But as I continued on this set, you'll see the last couple of reps, they were a struggle, as they should be. I'm going for basically one rep in reserve, or as close to failure as I can kind of get, while still, having a little bit left in the tank. So you will see that my form does start to slip toward the last couple of reps. And I have to take a pause to get one final rep out at the end. It's funny, this woman in the background, I don't know what kind of app she uses to do her workouts, but she does some crazy stuff. But man, she does a ton of chest work, lots. There's that last rep. Ooh, couldn't quite get that bar down quite as far. I think I maybe go for one more. Yep, I'm gonna go for one more. And you see that bar is, a couple inches higher than it was on those first 8 or 10 reps. Those last two were tough. Then moved on to bicep curls, alternating seated bicep curls. These felt really good. I actually did go up in weight on my final set and had to use a little bit of body English toward the end. It's, when you're sitting, it does prevent you from using a ton of momentum, but you still can kind of use a little bit with your upper body, but not like you would if you were standing. You guys have probably seen that, guys just throwing weights around at the gym. So these are the 20s, and I did go up to the 25s for my final set. I love working biceps. It's one of my favorite things to do. There she is in the background doing push-ups. She does a ton of chest work. I feel like every workout she does is a chest workout. But hey, no shade. She's in there getting it in. So I think I might speed these up for the last few reps. So shoulder presses, I do put the bench down just one notch, so I'm not completely vertical. I just feel like it lets my elbow track in a much better plane. And then I had barbell or dumbbell RDLs. This was my first set. I do show these from a different angle just because I realize that this angle is not that great, but really making sure that I focus on really keeping the tension on my glutes throughout the whole movement and not like overextending at the top. And I think they'll be easier to show when I show them on the other side. Did some alternating crunches in between, just a couple sets of alternating crunches. And then here's the second set of RDLs from a different angle. You know, and I really try not to round my upper back too much, but that is something I have to work on a lot to kind of keep my shoulders back. You see me kind of make some adjustments here and there, but really keeping the tension on the glutes. So I think when I do this, like the cueing in my mind is I always think to push my glutes back, like I'm trying to hit the wall behind me, versus kind of like rounding or bending over. Like I'm really thinking of like shooting those hips back and then kind of propelling myself forward at the top without kind of like overextending. And then of course, some posing footage. I have been better about getting in posing every week. Here we are at full blast, fast posing. All the walking, all the hair fluffing, all the arm flapping. And then a couple of slowed down, real-time versions of posing. And that was it. So my pull day from the week, and then also some posing practice. Welcome everyone. I already said that. This is the outro. Welcome back. So good, short, kind of compressed week, but I did get some workout footage and also some posing footage. And we talked about my feedback from my coach at the beginning, and now we're going to talk about what I sent Aaron as my check-in for this week. It is, in my world, Thursday, and I just finished watching Aaron compete at the Amateur Arnold this morning, which was super cool. I do not have check-in photos from this week for that reason, because I'm going to be seeing my coach in person. So didn't think I needed to stress myself out over bringing my posing heels and my posing suit. So he's going to see me in person and will give me some in-person feedback on how I'm looking, which should be pretty cool. In the meantime, though, let's talk about what I sent as my check-in for the week, and then some other things that are coming up over the Arnold weekend and all of that good stuff. So this was actually my 13th check-in with Aaron. Lucky 13. So any issues with digestion? No. How am I feeling overall well-being? I said feeling good, not a lot to report from this week. I skipped my rest days on Sunday and Wednesday to get as many of my workouts completed this week as possible before leaving for the Arnold. No pics this week as I am seeing you in person. How's my recovery? What week of the meso cycle I'm on? So this is my meso week 4, and this is a week where, you know, you're kind of pushing as hard as you can like kind of pushing toward where you might be getting close to failure. Next week is week 5, when I'm really going to like try and get like, as close to failure as possible. So it was good this week to kind of try and push it a little bit and see where I was definitely feeling like I could get more, or maybe where I was failing a little bit. So just kind of testing the waters on some things. So no real soreness except for some good deep glute soreness one day. I had a day. So the next day I was like, oh man, like I really got my glute good. Especially my left glute was like really sore for a day, which was great. It's hard to get sore glutes because our glutes are such a big, powerful muscle and we use them so frequently. I mean, it's the reason we're able to stand up straight. So it's hard to get your glutes really sore. So that was actually really good. All resolved within a day, and I had good pumps. I'm learning to embrace the bro pumps, right? All this upper body work, all the bro work. Any issues with exercises? I said none. Anything else I should know? Nutrition, schedule, personal. And I said, as I noted above, I skipped Sunday and Wednesday rest days so I could get in all of my lifts before leaving for the Arnold. I forgot my kitchen scale, so I'm eyeballing things for the first time in many, many years. I had it at the top of my list, but I'm glad I didn't, and I'll fill in why I'm really glad I did not hesitate even a moment before leaving my house. Also, unfortunately, I forgot my body weight scale. I mentioned in the intro that he wanted me to bring my body weight scale with me, and I wasn't sure if I'd have the weight capacity. I absolutely did. My bag was not as heavy as I thought it would be, but I completely forgot both scales because I was using them right up until I left. So I forgot them both because I wanted to weigh the suitcase, and yeah, so I ended up forgetting both scales, which is fine. I said, I will be sure to get all my protein in, and I very highly doubt I will lose any weight this weekend at the Arnold. My period is not returned yet, but I have had a lot of good signs that hormonally things are improving. As I noted, the return of more female-driven fat patterns and cellulite. I said the cellulite is not said as a negative thing, and it is legitimately there. It's just not visible when I pose on purpose. Because when you pose, you're posing to hide your flaws. So I think I said that in the intro. I had some like breast tenderness one day, so hoping that my period starts in a few days. Fingers crossed. We shall see. Blood pressure, weight, how much water, how to stick to the diet, quality of sleep. I put quality of sleep this week as a 7. It was pretty good. I had one really rough night of sleep where my phone rang at midnight and then I couldn't get back to sleep, and like I had this weird nightmare. It was just kind of rough. But other than that, my sleep was good. And actually last night here at the Airbnb, I didn't mention this tropical location I'm in, Columbus. I actually slept really well. The bed, when I first got in, I was like, oh man, this bed is like hard like a rock, and the pillow was super soft, but ultimately it was fine, and I slept really well. I think my body loved it because in its world, it thought I was going to bed at like 7 p.m. It was 9 o'clock here, and my body was like, yes, we're in bed at 7. So I think my body was just happy to be getting more sleep last night, which was good. Energy was pretty good, not great. I put it as a 6. I was feeling pretty tired a couple of days, but I think a lot of it was because I was so kind of like mentally tapped out, and I was working a lot. And like one night I got home from work, it was Monday. I got home late, and like by the time I finished eating, it was like after 7, and I was like, oh my gosh, I still need to pack. I think so. It wasn't tired so much as I was just trying to pack so much into every single day. And at some point, you can only do so much. Digestion was good. It was a 10. Stress, I put it as an 8. Said a lot of work stress. Still a lot of work stress, stress in general, and trying to get everything caught up and done for being gone for a couple of days. The good thing is I can work remotely. So like yesterday when I got into Columbus, I worked for a couple hours. Today I've worked for a few hours. So in my world, as long as, if it's not something I need to actually take out stitches on a patient, it's super easy to do some follow-up videos and other things, and like do a lot of things via email and phone calls and other stuff. So I've been able to get some work done, which has been great. Appetite, I put as normal, 3 to 4. It's just been normal. Glucose, like I've mentioned, that's something that he and I are monitoring. Steps, my steps were up a little bit more this week, which was great. I was able to get some walks in before I left for the Arnold, or for the Arnold. I'm going to say the Olympia at some point for the Arnold. And already this morning I've walked quite a bit because I walked to and from the convention center and walked to the grocery store, and I love to walk. Sleep routine has been normal, my 9-ish to 4-ish. Personal goals for the week, be honest, areas you could do better in. Number 1, I said hit meso week 5 hard. That's my goal next week, since it is that week where I'm really pushing toward failure, really hit it as hard as I possibly can. Number 2, get caught up on all work, life, everything after being at the Arnold for a few days. There's just lots always to catch up on when you've been gone, even for 4 or 5 days. Number 3, I put more sleep, more posing, more stretching, more mobility. More. Need to do more of all of those things. Pumps, I put as an 8. They were good, getting good pumps. Now that I'm getting a little more used to doing my bro split, liking the pumps. Workout volume feels, I put it as a 7, you know, it should be. I mean, it felt hard. Like my workouts, I felt like I was really pushing it this week, which was good. I mean, it's not like there's so much volume. It's more that I was just really pushing it hard. Anything else I should know about training? I said, nope, current meso seems to be going very well. Joint pain, nope. Sleep score, resting heart rate, HRV, and then pictures. So this week, the pictures I sent him were just of my glucose and my weight. So that was my check-in. I will put any additional feedback from him. It will be in next week's video. So the feedback he sends me, and then also the feedback that he gives me in person. So I'll put all of that in next week's video. Like I mentioned, I am currently in Columbus for the Arnold, which has already been so much fun. I am so excited to get to hang out with everybody at the expo for the next couple of days, and excited to have gotten this video out on time, which means that all of my Arnold footage can go in next week's video, which is great. Again, hopefully I saw you there. And if I did and we got pictures, they'll be in next week's video. What was I going? Oh, about leaving. Oh my goodness. So quick story about travel. So flying is always a hassle, and the airport where I live, the airport it's far out of the city, but it's really not that far. It's just kind of spread out. So I mean, morning, even with traffic in the morning, I thought, well, it shouldn't take me more than 35 minutes. I mean, without traffic, it should take 20. I'm going to leave 45, just to be safe. It took an hour and a half to get to the airport. I still had to park. Then you have to take a shuttle from the parking into the airport. Luckily, and of course I had a bag to check. I'm like, of course. Luckily, I had made an appointment for the security system at the airport where you can, you basically make an appointment to go, and you get to go to the front of the line. I thought I was going to miss my appointment time. I got there at the very end. They give you a 15-minute grace period. I got there at the end of the 15-minute grace period, and I ran, which was great because I was able to run to the very front of the line. And I made it. I got to my gate running, ran to my gate, had time to stop to go to the bathroom, fill my water, and then I ran the rest of the way to the gate right as they were calling my boarding group. Got right on the plane. My bag made it. And as soon as I sat in my seat, a little notification came up your plane departs in 13 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm on. So it was a stressful morning. I mean, I'm sitting there in traffic and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. There were no accidents. Apparently there were some lanes closed farther up on I-70 that maybe was impacting things, but I mean, miles before, after. It was morning. It was not during the peak of rush hour. It was before. It was just, I don't know what was going on, but it was definitely, I'm glad I did not wait even a single second to leave my house. I just, I could have. I was like, oh, I got a couple more minutes, but I'll just leave now. But I did not double check my list, which had scales at the very top of it. So I did forget to bring my scales. That's why there's no scales for this week. But other than that, it was, a good week getting ready. It felt like I didn't even know what day it was most of the time because, I kept thinking every day felt like Thursday, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Today is actually Thursday, but every day leading up to it felt like Thursday because it was like, oh my gosh, I only have one more day. I have one more day to get everything ready, to do all the things. The cookie dough made it safely. I'm going to be baking that up this afternoon. Everything was still frozen solid, which was great. Thawed them in the fridge overnight. They're going to get baked off this afternoon. That's actually what I'm going to start doing now because it's going to take me a few hours to bake that many cookies, nearly 13 pounds of cookies. And there'll be pictures of that in next week's video as well. So again, thank you all so much for being here. If you would do me a huge favor and subscribe to my channel, that would be incredible. I'm trying to get to 300. Now, there's channels out there that have 12 million people or 20 million people following them, and I'm just wanting to get to 300. So I would very much appreciate it. If you have any questions, about how things went at the Arnold, leave those in this vlog because I'll be able to answer them because the Arnold will have happened and I can answer them in next week's video. I hope I saw you there. And until then, it is a cloudy, rainy day here in Cleveland. I hope where you are, it is sunny. And please, please, please spread positivity and light to yourself and everyone around you. You are worthy. You deserve it. I appreciate you. You are amazing. And I will see you all here next time.